Joe Roy Metheny, born March 2, 1955, in Essex, Maryland, etched his name into Baltimore's grim history as a serial killer whose brutal acts in the mid-1990s claimed at least 5 lives, though he claimed up to 13. Known as Tiny despite his towering 6 feet 1 inch, 450-pound frame, Metheny's crimes, marked by rape, murder, and dismemberment, targeted society's most vulnerable: sex workers and homeless individuals. His unverified claims of selling human flesh as burgers at a roadside stand added a layer of infamy that lingers in true crime lore. This article delves into Metheny's troubled childhood, the personal betrayal that ignited his killing spree, the gruesome details of his crimes, the investigation that stopped him, and the societal failures that let him prey undetected. Metheny's early years were shaped by hardship in a working-class Baltimore suburb. The second of 6 children, he grew up in a home fractured by loss. His father, an alcoholic, died in a car accident when Joe was 6, leaving his mother Jean Metheny to raise the family alone. John worked multiple jobs, waitressing, factory shifts, often leaving the children unsupervised. Metheny later claimed he was neglected, sent to bars as a toddler to retrieve his drunken father, and left to fend for himself as his mother struggled financially. Jean disputed this, portraying Joe as a bright, well-mannered child who excelled in school and showed no early signs of violence. The truth likely lies in between: a boy with potential, overshadowed by a chaotic home life that left emotional scars. As a teenager, Metheny grew withdrawn, his once promising demeanor giving way to isolation. At 18, he escaped to the U.S. Army in 1973, serving as a mechanic in Germany. He later claimed service in Vietnam, and a heroin addiction sparked there, but records show no Vietnam deployment, as U.S. involvement ended that year. Whether his drug use began in the military or later, it became a defining feature by the 1980s, pulling him into Baltimore's seedy underbelly. After leaving the Army, he drifted through blue-collar jobs, truck driving, construction, and eventually forklift operating at a Jessup pallet factory. Living in a trailer in South Baltimore, he frequented dive bars associating with drug users and sex workers, a milieu that would later define his victim pool. By 1994, at age 39, Metheny's life was a precarious balance of work, addiction, and a fragile family unit. He had a girlfriend, a fellow drug user, and a 6-year-old son who anchored him emotionally. But this stability was shattered when his girlfriend left, taking their son and sparking a rage that would unleash a monster. In 1994, Metheny's world collapsed when his girlfriend, battling drug addiction, left him and took their 6-year-old son to start a new life with another man. This abandonment struck at Metheny's core, fueling a vendetta that became the catalyst for his killing spree. In his chilling confessions, he described scouring Baltimore's homeless camps, under bridges, and drug-riddled neighborhoods, searching for her to exact revenge. He blamed her addiction for destroying their family and extended his hatred to others like her, sex workers and transients who populated the city's margins. Unable to find his girlfriend or her new partner, Metheny's mission twisted into a predatory rampage. His rage found new targets in the vulnerable people he encountered during his searches. The betrayal, coupled with his struggles with addiction and a sense of powerlessness, ignited a need for control that manifested in extreme violence. His first known murders in 1995 set the tone. 2 homeless men, Randall Brewer and Randy Piker, were killed with an axe under the Hanover Street Bridge, a place he scoured for his ex. This act of brutality marked the beginning of a spree that would terrorize Baltimore's forgotten corners. From 1994 to 1996, Metheny killed at least 5 people, though he boasted of up to 13. His victims were primarily sex workers and homeless individuals, chosen for their vulnerability and the likelihood they wouldn't be missed. His methods were methodical and gruesome, reflecting both calculation and savagery. Early murders, 1995. Metheny's first confirmed killings targeted Randall Brewer and Randy Piker, homeless men he encountered under the Hanover Street Bridge. Using an axe, he hacked them to death, dismembered their bodies, and dumped the remains in the Patapsco River to avoid detection. Arrested and tried for these murders, he was acquitted due to insufficient physical evidence, as the river's currents obscured the bodies. Around this time, he also killed an unnamed sex worker, luring her with drugs, then raping and murdering her. He claimed to have killed a fisherman he feared had witnessed one of these acts, disposing of the body similarly. These early killings established his pattern, targeting transients, using extreme violence, and erasing evidence. Escalation, 1996. Metheny's confirmed murders of Kathy Ann Magaziner, 39, and Kimberly Spicer, 23, both sex workers, were his most documented crimes. He lured them to his South Baltimore trailer with promises of money or drugs, where he raped, stabbed, and dismembered them. Their remains were buried in shallow graves at the Jessup Pallet Factory, where he worked as a forklift operator. The factory's remote location and his access to heavy machinery allowed him to conceal the bodies effectively. Another sex worker, Rita Kemper, narrowly escaped after Metheny attempted to rape and kill her. Left briefly unrestrained, she fled to a nearby business and alerted police, leading to his arrest on December 15, 1996. Modus operandi. Metheny exploited his physical size and familiarity with Baltimore's rough areas to overpower victims. His trailer served as a primary kill site, equipped with knives, axes, and possibly saws from his workplace. The pallet factory provided a secluded burial ground, where he used his forklift to dig graves. He disposed of some remains in the Patapsco River, leveraging its depth to hide evidence. His crimes combined sexual violence, mutilation, and strategic disposal, reflecting a need for domination and a desire to evade capture. Cannibalism claims. Metheny's most infamous claim was that he ground up victims' flesh, mixed it with pork and beef, and sold it as burgers at a roadside barbecue stand near his trailer or factory. He described selecting choice cuts from victims' thighs and buttocks, storing them in Tupperware, and blending them with animal meat to mask the taste, which he claimed resembled pork. He boasted that customers never noticed. However, no physical evidence, such as human remains in food, customer complaints, or stand records, corroborates this. Police searches of his trailer and workplace found only the buried remains of Magaziner and Spicer. Some experts believe he fabricated the story to amplify his infamy, akin to Jeffrey Dahmer's tactics. In contrast, others note his access to tools and isolated spaces made it feasible, if unproven. The claim remains a chilling, unverified footnote. Unverified victims. Metheny confessed to killing up to 8 additional victims, including women lured from bars and other transients. He claimed to have disposed of some bodies in rivers or incinerators, but only 5 victims, Brewer, Piker, Magaziner, Spicer, and the unnamed sex worker, were substantiated through confessions or remains. The lack of missing persons reports, common among transient populations, hindered further verification. Metheny's spree ended due to Rita Kemper's bravery. After surviving his assault, she escaped his trailer and reported him to police, providing details of his appearance and location. On December 15, 1996, authorities arrested Metheny, finding evidence in his trailer linking him to the crimes. His confessions were damning. He provided graphic details of the murders and led police to Magaziner's remains at the pallet factory, identified via dental records. The investigation revealed police struggles to track crimes against transients, as missing persons reports were rare for his victims. Metheny's acquittal in the 1995 Brewer-Piker case highlighted these challenges, as the lack of physical evidence and witnesses allowed him to walk free initially. In 1998, Metheny was convicted of the murders of Kathy Ann Magaziner and Kimberly Spicer. His confessions, corroborated by physical evidence, left little room for defense. He showed no remorse, recounting his crimes with a chilling detachment, expressing regret only for not finding his ex-girlfriend and her partner. Sentenced to death, He saw the penalty overturned in 2000 due to procedural irregularities, receiving 2 life sentences without parole instead. He died on August 5, 2017, at 62, in his cell at Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland, with the cause of death undisclosed. Metheny's case exposes the vulnerabilities of marginalized groups, sex workers, addicts, and the homeless, who often fall through societal cracks. Baltimore in the 1990s, grappling with poverty and a drug epidemic, provided fertile ground for a predator like Metheny, whose victims were unlikely to be reported missing. His ability to evade capture until Kemper's escape underscores systemic failures in protecting the vulnerable. The unverified cannibalism claims, while sensational, reflect a public fascination with extreme deviance, often overshadowing the human toll of his crimes. Metheny's story endures in true crime circles, fueled by its brutality and the lingering question of his barbecue stand. Media portrayals, from podcasts like Serial Killers to articles on All That's Interesting, often amplify the cannibalism angle, though it remains unproven. Local Baltimore lore recalls rumors of a cannibal burger stand in the 1990s, but no evidence supports this urban legend. His case serves as a grim reminder of how personal pain, left unchecked, can spiral into public horror, and how society's neglect of its most vulnerable enables such atrocities. While no formal psychological evaluation of Metheny is public, his behavior aligns with traits of a power control serial killer. His need to dominate victims, evident in the sexual violence and dismemberment, suggests a psychopathic lack of empathy. The betrayal by his girlfriend triggered a misogynistic rage, with sex workers becoming proxies for his ex. His casual confessions and lack of remorse, except for not killing his intended targets, point to a grandiose self-image, possibly inflated by his desire for infamy through the cannibalism claims. His childhood neglect and unstable adulthood likely fostered a deep-seated anger, but it was the 1994 abandonment that lit the fuse. Joe Metheny's life began in hardship and ended in infamy, driven by a betrayal that unleashed a wave of violence against Baltimore's forgotten. His childhood, marked by loss and neglect, set the stage for a troubled adulthood, but it was the loss of his son and girlfriend that transformed him into a killer. His crimes, brutal, calculated, and targeting the vulnerable, reflect both personal rage and societal failures. While the cannibalism claims remain unproven, they cement his place in true crime lore, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk within. Metheny's story is not just about a monster, but about the conditions that let him thrive, urging us to see and protect those society too often overlooks. If you're as captivated by true crime stories as I am, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this case in the comments below. If you're looking for another dose of true crime, be sure to check out our video on another notorious serial killer.